and welcome back to Installation 00, and today we continue with the Mythos series and pick up where we left off with Covenant Resurgence. Despite the Didact's apparent demise, not all threats against humanity had been quelled. Julamdama's Covenant was no longer a meagre collection of ships housed on Hesturos, but now had become a powerful military force, a faint but ominous echo of the old alliance. Gathering substantial support from other Sangheili clans under the moniker Didact's Hand, Umdama planned to return to Requiem in full force. His Covenant was prepared to not only pillage the Shield World for weapons and technology, but also to use it as a ruse, drawing the humans into a fatal trap. As the UNSC began to recover from the devastating loss of New Phoenix and the damage caused by Mantle's approach, Julamdama strengthened his own position within the Covenant. Even with the Didact missing, Jul retained some control over the Promethean forces and Requiem, thanks to his earlier alliance with the Foreigner Commander. As the Didact's Hand, Umdama led the new Covenant Uprising, pushing aside any and all competing Sangheili warlords. This power and influence did not come without a price, and splits within the newly combined forces soon exploded into violence as the newcomers competed for prestige and influence. Nevertheless, Umdama managed to sway a significant number of previously neutral Sangheili worlds to his side, and begin secretly making preparations for a push on Sanghelos itself, hoping to take it from the Arbiter. Ironically, Umdama was unable to secure the loyalty of the Servants of the Abiding Truth, the foreigner-worshipping cult he had assisted in the months following the war. The Servants maintained their independence even after suffering great losses at the hands of the Arbiter's swords of Sanghelios. Umdama also remained ignorant that his own son, Dural, now known only as the Pale Blade, was a leading member of the Servants working directly under the leadership of the esteemed Avu Medtelkam. With his Covenant forces now involved in several conflicts, Umdama finally turned his attention to Requiem. He leaked word of his plans for the Shield World to the Human Intelligence Services, and prepared to draw the UNSC into a grinding war of attrition. This would give him free rein to cement his control over the Covenant, while also allowing him the opportunity to sacrifice those forces whose loyalty were suspect. Taking the bait, Oni made plans to attack Requiem with the fully refitted UNSC Infinity. In February of 2558, the UNSC Infinity left Earth and headed directly to Requiem to eliminate Julamdama's forces. Immediately upon arrival, Infinity engaged the Covenant fleet while deploying troops to the Shield World's interior. As fierce battles raged across Requiem's inner surface, the UNSC managed to slowly push back the Covenant ground forces and destroy several warships in the process. After the Infinity's foreigner expert was captured by the Covenant, Captain Thomas Lasky was forced to request the aid of Dr. Halsey, who had been secretly detained since her arrest on Onyx in 2553. However, Julamdama was also aware of the Doctor's deep knowledge of the foreigners, and required her help to access a knowledge archive the Covenant had stumbled upon. Umdama managed to use a powerful foreigner artifact to activate Requiem's interdiction web, a close-range slipspace anchor immobilizing Infinity in orbit and teleporting his own forces directly onto the ship, where they eventually seized Halsey. When Oni learned of Halsey's capture, Admiral Seren Osman immediately ordered Commander Palmer to terminate her. Captain Lasky, however, was uneasy with the order and contacted the Spartan 4 fireteam Majestic in an effort to stop Palmer and bring the Doctor back to safety. Seemingly working alongside the Covenant, Halsey unlocked the archive buried on Requiem, called the Librarian's Rest. There, she made direct contact with the librarian's imprint, a dynamic personality record of the deceased foreigner. Within the rest, the librarian gave Halsey the Janus Key, a two-piece foreigner artifact which, when brought to a mysterious site known as the Absolute Record, would provide its holder with the real-time location of all existing foreigner technology. When Halsey emerged, one half of the key was immediately taken by Umdama, but when Majestic arrived, Halsey managed to secretly hand off the second half of the key to Spartan Gabriel Thorne, before being taken away by the Covenant. In the process, the Doctor was shot in the arm and grievously wounded by Palmer. Neither the Commander nor Majestic were able to stop Umdama before he set Requiem on a collision course with its sun, and with the Infinity still locked into orbit by the interdiction web. Spartan fireteams managed to disable this system, freeing Infinity and allowing the crew to narrowly escape the shield world's demise. Although her arm had been crudely amputated, Halsey survived and pledged to work with Umdama and the Covenant. Incensed by the betrayal she had experienced at the hands of Palmer, the Doctor promised Umdama that she would pursue the common goals of finding the Absolute Record and exacting revenge against the UNSC, though she secretly sought an opportunity to be free from her new captors. The campaign on Requiem represented one of the first major large-scale deployments of the Spartan Force against Jul 'Mdama's newly formed Covenant military. This engagement saw an intense and protracted occupation by Spartan fireteams as they battled Covenant and Promethean forces across the surface of the Foreigner shield world. Fireteams such as Majestic and Crimson were deployed on specialized missions to secure and retrieve a number of artifacts that Umdama sought. These key relics would become significant pieces in the puzzle of Requiem, ultimately leading to the discovery of the Librarian's Rest and the Janus Key. But they would come at a high cost. Not only would Requiem and the important history it possessed be lost forever, but many Spartans would sacrifice their lives during the occupation. The pursuit of the Absolute Record became central to the Covenant after the destruction of Requiem. Umdama's forces fought a relentless campaign against the UNSC Infinity, testing its defences with everything from ambushes to all-out assaults. On Actis IV, the Covenant fleet used the planet's opaque and foamy oceans to mask their presence until the UNSC ship was close enough to strike. Throughout this and other battles, Infinity and its crew held firm, their resolve only strengthened by this adversity. Halsey may have despised her treatment by the UNSC, but she had not blindly sided with Umdama's fanatical Covenant. She believed that she might be able to pit both sides against each other long enough to buy time to access the Absolute Record on her own. This plan began to come together on the planet Atkis IV, where she convinced the Covenant to lure the UNSC Infinity close to the planet's murky surface. When it was vulnerable, the Covenant brutally attacked, ambushing Infinity and allowing Halsey to trick them into relinquishing their half of the Janus Key. After acquiring both halves of the Janus Key, Halsey wasted no time in determining the slipspace destination for the entrance of the Absolute Record. Despite her efforts to the contrary, specifics of her plan were leaked to the UNSC by a Sangheili spy, Ayit Sevi. Oni assembled a covert strike force and infiltrated the Covenant warship Breath of Annihilation just before it made the jump to an uncharted gas giant. The planet concealed a portal leading directly to the Absolute Record, and upon their arrival, it opened. The Covenant fleet, however, had approached too hastily, and the violent breach into slipspace destroyed most of Umdama's ships, leaving only Song of Retribution and Breath of Annihilation to access the record. While Ayit Sevi seeded a rebel uprising amongst the Covenant aboard Annihilation, the remainder of the UNSC strike team worked to stop Halsey from taking full control of the record. Nevertheless, Halsey managed to gain access, though her success was short-lived. The Custodian, an AI charged with the site's security, rescinded the librarian's gift, taking back the Janus key because of Halsey's subversive and malicious behaviour. After Umdama's forces came under fire from the site's Forerunner defences, they retreated back to the Song of Retribution and attacked the Absolute Record, effectively sealing off access for both the Covenant and the humans. Halsey was returned to Umdama's custody, although given her failure at the record, her safety was now at risk. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider hitting the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Be sure to like the video if you did, and pop a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. I just want to take a moment to thank my patrons, Spartan 10148, the Metarch of my facility, Falcon, Sylphia, Mikhail, Ashley, Jordan and Esoteric Sight, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Legion's Lost, Labrat, Spartan 0137, Jacob Kemp, Sean, Element Zero, J3, Mr. Keys, Gunslinger, Evermore, Personal Devil, Aldeas, Toxic, Scion Esports, Gem Saber and Relentless, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, my loyal enforcers, and all other patrons who continue to support the channel. If you want your name on the end of the video and some perks earned along the way, head over to Patreon and consider supporting the channel yourself. Big shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan 137, Jacob Kemp, Talia, Fenrir, Bornstella, Jimbo and Balaz, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy, with a special mention to the Accursed Hunter. Shout out to John due to the mathematical formula used to determine the area within a pentadodecahedron. Oh, and Lena because that sandwich. And remember, there are tons of ways to support the channel and keep my installation pumping out content at a breakneck speed. Much love to you all, take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.